everybody. Can you guys hear me? Chat, audio check.
I'm going to write in the message and see if they.
What if they? I don't think anybody can hear us. Oh,
you can hear. They can hear.
Okay, what about? Can you hear Jerry and Courtney?
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Yes.
It's too soft, or okay.
James Cole says it's good.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to the stream. Welcome back.
It's been a long time.
Sketch Fighters 2025. This is we've been gone for a while. I've been gone for a while. I titled this stream "Return to Streamlife." Episode 196. Even though I think we had 196 in Taiwan, but it didn't have the fancy Sketch Fighter logo up top, and it was only on Twitch, not on YouTube. So we're going to rewind and redo 196 for now. Welcome to the stream. I'm Bernard Chang, professional comic book artist. I'm joined by my co-host right now, Jerry Ma, professional comic book artist. And Courtney, the lovely Miss Courtney.
Hello.
Courtney just returned back from Japan. She's a little jet lagged.
Yeah. Too bad I missed you because I think you stopped in Japan right a couple days before I left for Japan. And then even Jerry was in Taiwan, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but I was only there for like 8 days.
Oh God, that is ugh.
I've been back for a while now.
Yeah.
So lots have happened. Has happened. But well, Courtney's jet lagged. So you're in Japan for how long? 2 weeks?
Yep. Just 2 weeks.
I think we were just chatting before we jumped on tonight that the state of things in the world are a little bit weird, and well, if you think it's weird,
bad, or kind of bad,
yeah. But if you think it's bad now, my prediction is that in the next 4 years, there's going to be some kind of alien visitation, and you just want to think like, well, the aliens are going to come to Earth and they're going to be meeting with our president as a envoy. What is it? As an envoy for the human race. So
yeah, that's not the best representative, in my opinion.
Interesting. Anyway, let's say hello to chat. Carson McKinney, first in chat today, bringing in the new year. Carson McKinney. By the way, Carson, the address I have for you on file, I sent you something that got returned in the mail. Some address in Savannah didn't work, so Jerry's in chat. Crispy Papa, greetings from Melbourne. Hopefully I'll be able to get out to Melbourne this year. That's one of my goals for 2025 is to make it out to one of the shows. There's the Supernova or the Oz show, where you do so 1 week, one weekend you start off on one side of the continent, and then the next you go to Perth on the other side. James Quo's here. Thanks. Resub with Prime. 40 months. Thank you, James Quo. Good to see James Quo. Hope your drawings are coming out okay. Any status updates on your portfolio submissions? DYL Pickle, yo, yo, yo. Jamie Odell, yo, 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 yo. Beef Skellington, what's up? What is the, did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
Sucked.
No, but like the
I guess it was
commercials.
great if you're an Eagles fan.
Were there any good commercials? Because like
I don't remember.
I think that's Sean. Because like this is like the 30th anniversary of the What's Up commercial.
Wow.
Remember that?
Bring it back, Bernard.
Beef Skeleton. Yojimbo's here. Good to see Yojimbo. Our moderator extraordinaire. Good to see Yojimbo. How you doing? All the way on the East Coast. And D Rogers is here. D Rogers, welcome to the stream. Tier 1 resubbed. 54 months. Woof. Thank you so much, D Rogers. By the way, I just made executive platinum status this year on American Airlines. So barely made it this year. It's 200,000 miles for loyalty points. I was 200,000 and 300 something. So I just barely made it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it next year.
Hey, why not? Aren't you flying to like international flights more often now?
Well, I think what they did this year, which was different than the previous year, is that they no longer count the miles that you're flying on American. It's all based on how much you spend. So your ticket price times a kind of money factor number based on your elite status. So because I'm executive...
Speaking of elite, D. Rogers is talking to us from the sky.
Ooh, what?
That bastard.
D. Rogers is up on the plane using the Wi-Fi on American Airlines. Wow. I hope you have some warm nuts next to you.
I hope he has this on where everybody could hear us around him.
Wow. Where is D. Rogers flying to from? I don't think I flew as much this year, but like on this last flight back from Taiwan, I only got like 4,000 loyalty points. Usually it's an 8,000 something trip if they count the miles and a percentage of the miles. But there's some kind of thing where now the American Airlines loyalty program, it's a money factor based on how much. So if you buy like a cheap ticket, right? You buy like an economy ticket, you're saving money, but you're also not accruing as many miles. Doesn't matter how far you're flying.
Oh, I see.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you buy like a $200 ticket from LA to New York, and you buy a $200 ticket from LA to Vegas, which is a third of the way or a quarter of the way, I think you accrue the same number of miles or loyalty points.
Then you gotta get on the D. Rogers plan and just keep flying business class.
I gotta get, so part of it is accumulating some flights on a higher, in a higher cabin, which would then also boost. When you're flying business too, your rate goes up. It's like 120 bonus or 100% bonus or 150% bonus. So the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. That's kind of how it works. So they don't throw you a pizza party. I'm close to 1 million miles flown on American Airlines. Once you fly 1 million miles, you have gold status for life. I don't think gold status does anything. It gives you, I think, one free bag checked in for life.
Did you see what CB Cebulski posted on Instagram recently?
Delta One?
About his... Yeah, like the all-you-can-eat sushi and all-you-can-drink.
Oh, no. So Delta One, I think, is their first-class like lounge. All-you-can-eat sushi, sashimi. Yeah. So, look, Fletch flew with me to Taiwan where we had the layover in Japan. And we flew, I just had an economy ticket. They upgraded me to premium economy. Fletch flew with premium economy. But when we landed in Tokyo for a couple of hours, we got to go into the first class lounge. And they had free made-to-order sushi, sashimi. Of course, they had the curry beef, but they had also all these other noodles and pork. And I've sent you pictures before, Jerry.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they have this
That's
lounge
awesome.
where they serve hibiki, or they serve yeah, they do serve hibiki now. They serve Hakushu 12 and Yamazaki 12 free.
GDs.
So yeah, I prefer longer layovers in Tokyo if I can. Oh, D. Rogers' Wi-Fi is having trouble keeping up, but well, one of these days, I think D. Rogers is a concierge key. There's an even higher level to American Airlines called concierge key, but it's an invite only. I think you have to fly a lot. I mean, I'm flying 200,000. You gotta fly like 500, 750. Anyways,
Jesus.
yeah. So,
Looks like Sean just joined us.
and we have Sean Chen. Is Sean Chen on the line?
Speaking.
Oh, Mr. Chen, welcome.
That's a cool Green Lantern. Damn.
This is a Green Lantern sketch I finished up. You can, if you guys scroll back, I started this on a stream like last year sometime, but then it sat in a folder. I thought I had finished it for some reason, but my memory is not good these days. So I thought I had finished it, and then the guy emailed me last week saying like, "Hey, where's my commission?" I'm like, "Oh." So I found it and then I finished it. So
I'm waiting for a commission that was supposed to get delivered to me today.
Oh yeah, I remember you commissioned that from Bernard.
Oh no, I'm getting one from Travis Charis.
Ooh, whoa.
Damn, I thought you tried to trick Bernard into thinking that he owes you a joint.
I think he owes me one though.
Big spender.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember Courtney gave you $1,000 for a commission.
I owe Courtney's
Yeah.
boyfriend one.
Oh
He
yes,
won.
he won. He won that time.
It's
I don't remember what it was.
It's sitting right here. It's like a red Spider-Man.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. Yeah, send that over.
Like a one of those Spider-Man guys breakdancing or something.
And also my $1,000 fully colored full layout one
right.
that I that's from a few years ago, so you probably just don't remember.
Really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What was that character again you wanted?
There's a few. I mean, there's a few. I have to think about it.
You have to think about it. Sounds like you're making it up right now.
Because
No, of course
Bernard,
not.
you gotta add some green onto this bad boy.
Well, I was thinking about it.
No, come on. You don't want to go down that
Should
route.
I add green on here or like onto
Just
the?
add a green wash over the whole thing. Just like splatter all over.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Well, this guy's been waiting for this commission for like a year.
Yeah, so throw some green in there.
Almost. Well, that's what
What
I
if that
say. Like,
ruins it?
the longer you wait, the more This was supposed to be just like, I think
Let's take a poll. If people think you should add some green.
But is it proper paper? Is that paper going to be able to take
it's
a water?
it's a vellum paper. It's very
It'll take it just fine.
I hate this kind of paper because it's very rough.
Oh, this is the kind of guy that gives you the paper to draw on? That's so weird.
Yeah, he gave me the paper, right? Like he ripped it out of his own.
Yeah, like it's special paper or something. It's just like cheap sketchbook paper.
Yeah, it's just
That's weird.
so.
Maybe
Well,
you think they have to do that.
No, he's just doing it because he's got this paper fits into the book that he's using. So
He tore it out though.
no, I bet you it fits right back in.
No, it fits right back in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty beat up though. I mean, the fringe. What do you call these? The frizzies. I don't know.
Preparations.
Perforation.
You should make it a little sticky.
You think I was thinking about green, like green here. That's why I haven't done
Come
anything
on,
on this
man.
chest.
Do a little green.
Sean? What's been going on with you?
Drawing like a damn fool.
You getting your Pearl River drawing done?
Oh yeah, I'm actually, I have it underway. So
I'm actually drawing it as we speak.
Oh, no way! That's a little early. I have to make a trip down to Chinatown for mine because I don't know. Is that Family Fun Center still there?
The arcade? Family Are you? Come on, man. Yeah, yes, it is. Just Google it. You don't
Why
have to
don't you
go
just
there.
do a
There's a
Google
million
search?
pictures. It's like an
No, I'm gonna go there.
iconic New York arcade.
But they don't have the dancing chicken and the tic-tac-toe chicken anymore.
No, but you can Google that. It's all over Google.
All right, I'm gonna put that in there.
Or YouTube. Come on. I'm sure it's on
Yeah,
YouTube.
come on, Sean.
No, I'm gonna go because I gotta scope it out.
If I add
Sure.
green to this,
That's
where am I adding green to this, chat?
Everywhere.
what is green everywhere? It's just like as if it was green paper.
Except messy. Like, not perfect. You just make it like,
I'm
I say
thinking
just like drip it on.
I'm
Just
thinking-
under his nostrils, so
Oh.
it looks like snot.
yeah, but then if I add green, then I'm gonna have to color his skin.
Yeah, that's the color creep. It goes more and more until you ruin it. So that's why, sometimes I don't color a lot of stuff because if it looks good, all that work could go to crap if I
What
attempt
if I
another
just?
level.
What if I color the background?
Courage. Don't be afraid.
Yes.
I vote no with Sean.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let me create the first poll of the year here.
I
At
feel like
least,
you have to
at least
prepare
color
for
his ring.
something.
Color his ring, for Pete's sake.
Nah, it'll
you
look
think I should
unfit-
color
it'll
the
look
ring?
alright.
Maybe the ring.
And the green on his chest, you know what I mean?
Okay.
The green on his gauntlets. Come on.
New poll.
Bare minimum.
Green. Where green? Green
Yeah.
where?
I don't know. Should we add green to the Green Lantern drawing? Oh, what a crazy idea. I mean, why don't you draw Batman with pink ink?
Actually, that's a good idea.
There
I
is
wanna
a,
see
there
pink
is a girl that does that.
Is she wildly famous?
Yeah, she charges like $2,000 a headshot.
Damn.
Or a headshot. Jeez.
Like on a
And
sketch.
here you are, afraid to add green to the Green Lantern.
Yeah. Well, but again, I still have to. The other drawing I want to do today is this monkey prince drawing. Although, here's the thing: is like I thought the guy commissioned the monkey prince. This is from New York Comic Con, and but then he's emailing me about Monkey King, so I'm like, is he mistaken or am I mistaken?
I think he has.
So, yeah, there is a girl that does pink head sketch, pink commissions.
$2,000.
Well, I think it's like at least 1,000. I think it's maybe 1,000 for a headshot, and 2,000 for.
For $2,000, you get 4 covers from me.
Oh, there you go.
You guys undervalue yourself. I'm just throwing that out there.
You can get a black and white Travis Charis piece.
Yeah. Oh, what is you
Comment.
getting from Travis? What are you having him draw?
The Big Trouble in Little China piece, man. Come on,
Oh, I
Sugar
saw that
Sean.
one. That's really good. That one's yours?
Yeah, come on, Sugar Sean.
It's really good.
Wait, which one?
The lightning from the 3 storms.
It's got like a lot of hatching in it and stuff.
He already posted it on Instagram.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
it's technically on its way to my home right now.
I think that's a great piece. I wonder who got it, but I'm glad it's you.
But he posted it a while ago.
Yeah, it's just been he had car troubles, so he couldn't get to the car place till like this week. Into the FedEx.
You saying Travis Charis doesn't have a car?
He had car troubles.
He needed to get paid so he can get a car fixed.
Oh, here it is. Look at this. Wow.
Mm.
This was
So,
this was 2K.
I was such a pain in the ass. I switched what I wanted my drawing to be about 5 times
Really?
because it
Yeah.
been so long. At
Was
first, I
it-
started off with Spider-Man. I'm like, I don't want Spider-Man. Then I switched to, like, Magic. I'm like, I don't want Magic. Then I switched to Cable. I'm like, why would I want Cable? And then I finally got to this.
2,000.
Excuse me?
2,000.
Well, he didn't say how much you paid, right? So.
Oh, I think 2,000 is his black and white price.
Oh.
Oh. Hey, this was well worth it. I mean, his stuff is only going to go up in value.
Well, how much is how big is it? It's like 9 by 12.
13 by 19.
Oh, it's pretty big. How's he gonna ship it to you? Like in a roll?
He's folding
I
it.
hope not.
He's folding it in half.
Yes.
In quarters.
He's sending you the digital file. Number 53. So what is this? He does like 50
That's
of them a year.
the 53rd commission he did.
Ever or that year?
No, just this batch.
So this Artemis one here, this one's black and white. This is 2.
It needs color.
Needs green.
How dare it
This
be black and
Batman.
white?
Valentine. By the way, your Jimbo said that there are people charging $900 at New York Comic Con. He thought it was kind of pricey.
I'll do 2 covers for you for that amount.
Look at this Magneto. It's pretty nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty dope.
you figure like, look, a lot of this figure's in shadow, so
So,
it looks nice. But then he doesn't have to define a lot of stuff.
yeah, that's one thing that we always said about John Paul's work. But his shadows, John Paul makes a shadow. It looks better, and a lot of times you can tell when someone's doing it to cover up a lot, and someone's doing it because it makes the work look better.
Is there something? Did Travis Hyde fuck Jerry in somewhere in this drawing because you changed
And the splatter. Oh yeah, like in the movie they put Chinese symbols in the electricity, right?
Oh really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, supposedly it's hidden in there. I never saw it myself, but in the what is that, Cinefex magazine, they said that they would hide Chinese characters in that lightning.
Oh, okay. Well, where are we with the poll here?
Getting inspired by this to add color.
13 by 19 is a big. Where are you gonna hang that up? Are you
I
gonna
don't know
hang
if
it
I'm
up?
going to hang it up.
Flat file. you gotta hang that up.
Okay. Everyone says just the ring. The ring won. So
Yeah, because you had no option for nothing.
okay. So just the ring then. Okay. I just do the ring.
Well, what about his green torso?
Well, again, that's the thing. Is like if you do the green torso, then the face is gonna look. The face and the hands is gonna look a little. Like
I think if you can use grayscale with green because it is the Green Lantern. It's not like
But what are you saying? Like green? What green green shadows on the torso?
Yeah, sure.
I think he's trying to make you ruin this piece.
Yeah.
And then
I believe in
he'll
you, Bernard.
laugh his ass off after the stream.
Well, I'm not redoing this piece.
You're gonna have to color everything after.
I mean, you can tell I kind of started messing up on the arm, so I started hatching everything in. I don't have a good brush. Oh, I use this brush. All right. Let's go in with the
All
green.
right. Mm.
Let's go in with the green. And right now, just the ring.
Ay, ay, ay.
Right now, it's just the ring. Ooh, it's pretty dark. By the way, big news this week in comics. Have you guys heard? The big news in comics for
What's the
2025.
news?
Oh, the intercompany crossover. I mean, the
Marvel DC
Marvel.
crossover.
I mean, I thought that happens like every summer. Am I wrong?
Last one was like 20 years ago or something.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, but I think that's one thing that they don't know. Like neither company wants to do it, but then I think when they get desperate, it might be like it's a little bit of like a jump the shark type thing where like, oh, we gotta bring out the big guns, because they were talking about it during COVID to save comics.
Well, I do think it will be interesting. I don't know. Did they give out any specifics? Does your Jimbo know?
I'm waiting for my phone to ring.
I'm wondering because the last time they did it, well, they've done it before in the past, where like Teen Titans X-Men, right? And there was Avengers JLA or Avengers Justice League. But the Teen Titans X-Men, that was drawn by Walter Simonson. That was, I think, in the 1980s. But that was a tremendous
It's one of
book.
the best comics.
But then the last time they did something like this, it was amalgam comics, where they mashed up like Marvel and DC characters to create new ones. I don't know if it's going to be like that. I would rather see the real life Marvel DC characters teaming up together. See, look at this. Just a ring. What do you guys think? Just a ring.
Looks a little lonely, if you ask me.
I think it's perfect.
Just leave it like
It does look nice.
Let's just leave it. What about the background?
It looks
what if I
fine.
colored the background green?
Sure.
Background's already busy enough.
Well, what is your idea for the background there? Because I see more and more artists doing that. It was never really done before.
What?
It's really hard to do that stuff. Like it's basically like light blurs and it goes into the background because it's blurred. There's no definition to it, but it's not a real object. It's an effect. And I see like Pepe Larraz doing it. I see Olivier Coipel, and so there's like really like good artists who can do it. Will do it, and then like DK Ruan, but I wouldn't know how to do that because it's not an object that I can draw. It's not an object. It's an
It's
effect.
just lines, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like half speed lines, and then I was doing the speed lines in the back, but then I felt like it's not enough because I was trying to get some darker areas and some lighter areas. And then I thought, okay, I want to have like these bursts, like starbursts, since it's already Green Lantern, and he's already like kind of like a space character, you know, having some kind of explosions or something coming out from the bottom. So I didn't have to, you know, figure out where his legs were going to go. But all right, I'm just leaving the.
I guess it's done. Fine.
I'm just leaving the. There's a little bit of a.
Can I ask you guys a question about DK Ruan and Olivier?
Sure.
First of all, I think those guys are freaking fantastic, just for the record. I'm just,
Did
this is
you
not
get
a negative thing.
Did you
But-
get a DK
But-
commission?
Don't you
But
think they
here's the
draw
but.
super similar?
Yeah, they do, but it's
And
Good.
did Olivier come out first?
yeah.
Olivier's first.
Do you ever wonder, does Olivier ever look at DK's work and be like, what the hell?
Oh, I don't think so.
I mean, DK's awesome. I think he's amazing. But, I mean, it's like pretty darn close to Olivier.
You guys see this? This is coming out tomorrow. This is my Captain America bull stag. All right.
Looks like they could use some color.
Well, this is the ink cover. So this one, Monkey Prince, I think I'm gonna go and since it's taken so long to do this, I think I might have to. I don't really like this pose anymore. So, and I hope it's the Monkey Prince, because I'm assuming it's the Monkey Prince.
Oh, so it's all going now?
Yeah, I'm gonna draw the full figure.
Oh, because like the longer he waits, the more he gets. Pretty soon you have to make like one of those sideshow collectible original figures.
Yeah.
Is Fletch on?
Is Fletch on?
Yeah. Fletch is muted.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I've been background listening in. I'm not feeling as well. I'm a little bit under the weather.
Oh.
Fletch got sick. We were hanging out this weekend and with Sensei Kreese. Did you guys see that?
With who?
Sensei Kreese from Cobra Kai.
Oh, okay.
Golf
From
Boys,
Sensei Kreese, right?
Golf Boy Sunday's here. Way High's here. Good to see Way. Martin Cove, yes. Let's see some pictures of him.
I already got a cigar from Mr. Cove.
Yes, very, very rare Cohiba. By the way, you think you got Fletch? You think you got the COVID from Martin Cove?
No. It's not COVID. It's a sore throat and a cough.
Sure, sounds like COVID.
Hmm.
Oh, I need to
I've had COVID like 3 times. I know what it feels like.
How do you know it's not COVID?
Oh,
Did you take a test?
No, not yet. But if it gets worse tomorrow, I will.
I'll take a test. Just clear your conscience. It's not that hard.
Yeah, don't get us sick on the stream, Fletch.
Yeah, cough the other way. Here, hold on.
It's almost never COVID, so you should take a test.
Yeah, I'll take a test.
There we
Oh,
go.
so that sensei, that's the asshole sensei, right?
Well,
Yeah.
There's two bad guys. Yeah, this one is the one. This is the original guy from the Karate Kid. He was Johnny Lawrence's sensei.
You told Johnny to sweep the leg.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, like, when you see him, don't you think like bad thoughts? Like, I know he's an actor, but I can't get his behavior from all that I know of him is from his behavior from the movie and the shows. That I would probably not approach him.
No,
Oh,
I mean because he's an actor.
I know.
Why would
I
you think
meant
that, Sean? I mean,
I
if-
met the well,
If you heard,
I had
if
a
you,
chance to meet the bad guys from the Road Warrior, the Wes and then Humongous, and I told them I don't want to meet them because I was a little bit scared of them. But
Sean,
then I found out they're actors.
yeah, they're probably like.
nuts.
Usually, a lot of times the villains are like really nice guys in real life.
Yeah.
Because they're actors.
Surprisingly, like Wes guy is like super nice.
And then the good guys are
I found out
usually the
later
ones
on.
that are assholes.
yeah. You know what? I do find that.
Ryan Reynolds.
Mm.
But Sean, what if you saw what if you saw an actor whose character died in movies? Would you be like, whoa?
I would
I
run
thought
up
you're
to him
dead.
and like, oh my god, you're alive.
You're okay.
You're back.
I'm so relieved.
Yeah, no, he was a really nice guy. He gave me the cigar. He didn't have to give me the cigar. He only had like.
Oh,
one or
that
two
was a
left.
huge, that really fat cigar.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
Cohiba, like a Churchill.
That
Is
was
that
the
his-
biggest cigar I've ever seen.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Was it his brand? it's-
Well, it was an exclusive, like, it was exclusive Cohiba variant. I
Oh,
don't know if you can see it, but for the Asia Pacific region.
Where did you go?
Technically,
Are
a
you
Cuban
are you
cigar.
at an event?
yeah.
Yeah,
Comics last weekend, and one of the publishers, Amp Comics, is a new publisher. They had a lot of Hollywood ties, and they had their party on Saturday night at their studio.
Oh, Comics Pro. You were at Comics Pro. Okay, I wish I
Yeah.
could go there.
So you probably
Yeah.
got it at. You probably got sick at Comics Pro, and then it was incubating while we were hanging out.
Yeah.
So am I gonna get sick tomorrow or the next day?
Did you guys share cigars together? What talk about
You
that?
both tug on that cigar.
We both
Yeah.
share the, but that's about it. No tongue.
We shared a what?
We both shared a kiss. Yeah, the tongue.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the stream,
Don't
everybody.
be jealous, Corey. Corey's just jealous.
Oh, shit.
I mean, Comics Pro is interesting. I've always wanted to go. It's the annual retailer conference. It's like a membership. I
Yeah.
think you have to pay to get in.
You have to pay.
Not usually in LA, right?
It hasn't been.
No.
It's usually 2 years in a city, every 2 years.
No, every year.
Every year?
2 years. It's every year,
Yes.
but they choose their city for 2 years. So
Right.
it'll be in Glen or two. Yeah.
So it should be. It's in Glendale next year again. I was
Mhm.
telling Jerry he should come out. And
It's a good opportunity for publishers, new and old, to try to sell or to talk about their business and try to get the retailers that are there to promote and buy their stuff. And sometimes they do that by bringing some talent along and then have like these ash cans or promotional items to give to the retailer so that they can help promote and hype up to their customers.
right. And
Yeah.
so there's a component for the retailers where they have panels that they can attend that would introduce them to how to order comics, point of purchase, how to display, how to catalog or itemize, basically how to run your business. And then there's also like a press junket type situation. A lot of the press junkets, it's like in the movies or something where you have if you had shot a movie, you go to these press junkets where there'd be different reporters from different medias like newspaper, television, podcasts, or whatever, and they'd be located in different tents, and you basically go into each one and you basically give your pitch and spiel, and they ask you questions about it, and you have 5 minutes with each group or whatever. So I think they had a version of that for Comics Pro, where retailers or indie publishers can move. Did they move, or the I think the retailers just stayed still? They moved from table to
It's
table.
it's called round tables. So each publisher that sponsors it are situated at a table, and there's 10-minute time at the belt where they move around from table to table.
Meeting.
Exactly, but for retailers and publishers.
So
Yeah, like DC had a table, Marvel had a table. New publishers like 24/7, they had actually they didn't have a table, but they did sponsor. They did have a presence though.
The Lab Press had a table.
Lab Press, Zagari had a table. Yeah, so had a table. Even Fanatic, Topps Fanatics had a table, but they ran out of product and they had to leave. Affected, but yeah.
Wait, Fanatics as in the sports apparel?
Yeah, they want to break in and have a presence at retail stores, comic book stores, because as a collectible. So they also have the Marvel license and a number of other licenses too. So comic books related stuff. So they were there. They gave a presentation. Manga was heavy. Had some presentations. Yeah, there was a lot of people. I would say about 200 people over the week. Plus a lot of talent that was there too to promote their stuff. James Tynan, Chip Zdarsky, Patton Oswalt was there. The Bernard Chang was there too. Not sure if you heard of him.
Wow. Did you get his autograph?
he tried
got
to
him a
give me
cigar.
he tried to give me COVID.
Were you there on behalf of someone, like for DC or for Marvel or something? Or
Well, I was there as a guest of Distillery and Ghost Machine. Ghost Machine was there too. One of the two of my clients were there. So just, I was really there just to say hi to people and talk to retailers I haven't talked to in a while, and also talk to potential new clients too. So,
And spread viruses.
well, viruses spread to me.
you took the virus for people, so
Well, I just done I was at a store signing that night, and then the retailer of the store Collector's Paradise, was going after the signing, and then the writers of Power Man, Jackson and Colin, were going to pitch their indie book. And then Fletch was gonna go, I heard. So I was like, all right, I'll go, and because I've always wanted to go. I've always wanted to go to one of these Comics Pro things. I went to one when I was at Valiant with Steve Mazarski once. But this was prior to this, when they still had Capital City, so Diamond hadn't monopolized yet. And we did a retailer run where we went to Vegas and hit a bunch of different retailers. And different, it was Vegas and some other place, I think Phoenix or somewhere else. And
I think you went to a Diamond Retailer Summit, because back then Comic Store really came into emergence around like 2000, I want to say 2006 or 7, maybe later. Yeah, you probably went to a retailer summit sponsored by Diamond or one of the.
It was. It would have been like 94.
That might be a Capital City even
yeah,
before.
I think it was a Capital City one. 94, because I remember I was signing some of the hardcore fives that the Capital City had published.
Yeah.
They had different variant cover. So, and it's an interesting thing because I do, you get to spend time with the retailers face to face, get to chat with them a little bit. And my opinion has always been that the customer of the comic book publisher is the comic book store. So really, because they are the ones that order the books, they're the ones that buy the books. It's non-returnable, and then in turn they try to then sell that book or that product to somebody else, to the readers. So if the retailer doesn't order enough, or the retailer doesn't have confidence in your work, they're not going to order that many copies of your book, which then determines the sales run, and in some cases the longevity of your title. So it's important to have some kind of relationship with retailers. The fans, again, they can go into the comic book store, but if the store doesn't have any copies, there's no book to buy.
It's all links in the chain, because it's publisher there, the distributor should be there too. Lunar was there. There's another small distributor sub-distributing there. Diamond wasn't, because they're under a lot of bankruptcy stuff right now. And then you have the retailer. So if all three links of that chain, the publisher, distributor, and for retail strong, then it should be a good year for comic book. But right now, it's in the Diamond, this distribution side.
Yeah, and then I met a bunch of retailers. I actually met a couple that are opening a store in South Dakota. So
opening a store.
Yeah, they said there was like 85% of the retailers in attendance were return retailers. And then I also met another person, I think he was in, I want to say Hawaii, but again, a first-time retailer. So there are new retailers in the business.
Well, what's the incentive for a retailer to go there?
Well, you learn about like how to run a shop. you learn about different things like inventory or FOC, how to place orders, how to order.
There are panels of programming too for retailers, depending on what level you are as well. And the incentive is also networking with those retailers around the country, with the publishers, and really there's a swag bag they call, where there's limited editions of comics that these publishers are producing, that are that get sold, to.
Yeah, I did a variant cover once, and I didn't know what Comics Pro was. So I said, like, well, what is this for? And he said, oh, it's for Comics Pro. I was like, well, I'm a Comics Pro. Do I get one? I was like, no, it's something different. And now I know what it's for, though. But
yeah, it's usually limited under 200 or under 200, 300 copies.
Technically, this is what a comics convention is supposed to be. Like what we do with, like, meeting fans and doing drawings and artist alley. That's not really what a comics convention is. Like, this is like a true comics convention where it's an industry thing.
Industry
they talk shop.
Yeah, industry.
Well, it's an industry convention. The comic convention is there to connect with those fans and support your work. That involves the last link in the chain. But
yeah, comic conventions are more consumer type shows, but it's an industry convention. So, there's panels. It's mostly panels, but it's all retail focused. So they don't actually. I don't think they even have a panel about how to make a comic book. I asked the retailer if they had like a programming, like teaching the comic book shop owners how an actual comic book is made.
There were in that about but it's more technical on the production side of things, what goes into producing a comic, and why there's certain delays and everything. So that involved like people from DC, from Ignition Press, and a printer, just to go through the course of and there was a lot of interesting questions that came out of that. Yeah. Interesting, but that's not something a fan wants to necessarily want.
So we're all going next year, right?
Well, it's in LA
I'm not
next
going
year.
with Fletch.
Well, and Jerry, you have a book that you have to push it, right? I mean, that's a good place to.
Well, I mean, it's not really up to me. It'll be up to the lab,
Yeah. How come Carl didn't fly you out, Sean?
I think he was focused on Bladesmith, which is Kreese's book.
Well,
Kickstarter.
Kreese didn't come out. Kreese did a show that weekend, the same weekend.
Yeah, he was going to go, but he was already committed to a show.
I mean, is Bladesmith coming out in stores, or what is the deal here?
Well, I think 24/7 Comics is there because they have some sort of plan to be distributed in comic book stores.
So, overall, I don't know. Fletch, do you want to open your own shop, or?
Me? No.
No, Fletch is a good businessman, so I wouldn't get into that.
No, they're yeah. No, I don't have the time. There's so much involved.
If I owned a comic book store, I have two ideas. And one of the ideas is, I've told you before, is to have a mobile shop. The size of a postal truck. Not the food truck is too big, but the size of a postal truck. And you would take your pull list and deliver the comics. And this would kind of only work in LA or New York, or university town, or an area where there's a specific high concentration of customers. So you have a brick and mortar, which is your base location, but then on certain days, New Comic Book Day, plus weekends, you would drive your mobile shop to, like, if it was in LA, You would drive it, park it out front of Nickelodeon, then park it out front of Disney for an hour between 12 and 1. Then 1:30 to 2:30, I park outside of CBS. Basically you try to hit the lunch or late afternoon crowd. On the weekends, you hit festivals like fairs, food fairs, and or movie theaters. You park your truck outside of a movie theater. Captain America just came out. After you come out of Captain America, boom, you have a whole bunch of Captain America comics, and then leading them back into your shop, your brick and mortar, the rest of the week. I think it would work. I don't know if it would work in every town, but the fact it's like instead of just having a shop and hoping people will come to you, you do have to go out to them a little bit. The other idea would be, Fletch, if you open the shop and you knew a bunch of artists, bring out artists in residence. So you set up a little table in a corner, and you have an artist sit there and draw their latest book for a week. You bring them in and pay them in food or something. But it's also like a promotion. So this would work on a scale where you can, let's say bring in Jerry and he's drawing his book for a few days. And customers can kind of come in and see a book.
Make fun of me.
Well, they can see a book. They can see a book being made in front of them, and you can sell and sign books, and then also take orders for your new book that's going to come out. The customer is going to have a bond. It's the same kind of bond why an artist would go to a comics pro to talk to a retailer. You get the customer, the reader, to commit to buying your book when it comes out because they've actually seen it being drawn or created.
Yeah. You know how difficult artists are. Come on.
Jerry's gonna draw on the truck.
Yeah, I don't know about all this. You guys are volunteering me for a whole lot of drawing
It's
on
gonna-
site.
Jerry,
It's gonna be like
Jerry, you can drive the
total-
truck, Jerry.
I'll bring whiskey, Jerry. Bring whiskey for you, Jerry. You'll draw.
I haven't had a drink in 2 weeks.
What's it like?
Well, sounds like you're due for one.
Yeah.
Well, it's the new Jerry.
No, I was on antibiotics, so I couldn't drink.
Oh, yeah, that's bad. You don't want to mix those two.
Oh, so it's not the new Jerry. Antibiotics.
You talking about putting artists up on display like in a zoo, where
It's kind of like a
The
zoo.
Oldsmobile.
It's kind of I did this when I was joining Supergirl. I did this at DJ's Universal, and I basically said, hey, I'll bring my drawing table, set it up inside the middle of the shop, and drew for a whole week. It helped productivity wise because it was like going to work for me. As opposed to working from home, you can get a little lazy every now and then. But when you have to show up somewhere, it does definitely put you on a time. The things about it that I felt were still needed working out is like there needs to be a period of uninterrupted drawing time because customers come in and out of the shop at random intervals. So there does need to be like a do not disturb, do not feed the animal sign, right? And you can just sit there and look over my shoulder and see me draw something.
I'm not gonna lie, I would hate that experience.
yeah, that's not for.
Yeah,
I think you have to get used to it.
No, you
though.
get used to. I mean,
It's something
it's
you have to
it's like what we're doing right here,
be-
right? It's like what we're doing right here on stream, except it's
Yeah.
with real people in real life.
Right.
Not everybody would be able to do it, but
Yeah.
I do think it would be a great promotional component to actually, if you imagine going into the shop and seeing a comic book being created in front of you, and then coming back a month or two later and buying that book and remembering that I was there when that guy drew that panel. You know, it's like there's a fascination with seeing how things are made. At least for me,
I
when
think it'd be
was a
more
kid.
like I was there when that guy was wasting time looking on his phone, watching a video, eating a sandwich.
Wow, yeah. But
There
Yeah,
is a-
what if they give you like a artist challenge where you just buy a bag of something and you can see the artist?
well, have you guys ever
Be like
been?
a stripper.
Have
It'll
you guys
tip
been
you.
to? Have you guys
You
been?
get tips.
You guys have been to Disney, and at the studio tour Disney in Orlando. You know, they have
Yeah,
a
I
very
saw that.
similar component where they have above the actual animation studio, they have a walkable tour of people coming by. But every time I've done that tour when I was a kid, there was nobody working.
Yeah, that's what I saw too. A lot of empty desks, and I remember they would project Tinkerbell on the glass, and she kind of like does the tour,
Yeah,
and then the artists are behind the glass.
and I do think I
Yeah.
think you know the mostly animation was never done in Orlando anyway, so I think it was more of a prop. But it goes to this similar kind of thinking, right? If a store had access to certain artists that were willing to do that, you know, I think it would be extremely beneficial because
Yeah, and the right artist though. I mean, you have to find. Not all artists are comfortable with drawing in a crowd, or
Yeah.
they're not comfortable. You know,
and it could be
of the
that
setting.
you know you could again. It doesn't need to be fine tuned, but you know you could have like a camera overlooking the shoulder or a mirror on top, so the artist doesn't
Well-
have to face the audience. He's just there, kind of drawing in his own space, and then you
Well, let
can
me
come in and watch stuff being created.
Now, let me ask you two questions. One, you can get the same effect from recording an artist drawing and playing that, or having something on YouTube, like you're doing now.
Right.
And but my question is, when you did that signing that event for a week, DJs, has anybody come up to you afterwards and said, "I bought this because you drew a DJ"?
I did have like a bunch of customers that would come over and over at conventions. Same faces that I've recognized. So not to the volume that I thought it would be. You know, it would be not hundreds of people, because not hundreds of people came through the shop that week.
If you did, or you record it and have a little bit more of a larger reach, then I can see that. But
Yes.
if it's just like
I
tens
think.
of people,
I mean, right now, yeah. So now this, again, that was Supergirl. That was like 2009, 2008. So now, again, with live streaming, yeah, I think you live stream it. There's other components that you do to this. So it's not just in the store, but it's some kind of live streaming component would work. I mean, in theory, again, what we're doing right here is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Fletch, I think you should open up a store so we can experiment with this concept.
Yeah, buy the artist whiskey, and they'll draw you in the comic.
I'll be blamed for the art not getting any work.
It was difficult. The other thing was, people would come in, they start talking to you, and you're there to promote your stuff, but at some point, it's also like I gotta say, like, hey, I gotta, no more questions, please. I'm here to
Distractions.
Yeah, but there were customers that would come in every day or every of the 5 days I was there. I think there's some of them came back like almost every day just to check in. Not everyone, but like 3 or 4, and then some I saw twice, like multiple times. And then others, brought their kids in, or somebody told them, a friend told them about it. It wasn't as well attended as I thought it would be. There's a promotional component that needs to be addressed.
It didn't get Fletch forwarded, that's why.
No, I didn't. I would just think like, hey, it's
Yeah, it's a great idea. I think the only thing that would beat that if you have like one of the Marvel movie actors there, but that's not going to happen. But I think like a very close second is seeing an artist draw a comic book. I think, of course, that's good. It's just very hard to do, but I think it's a good idea.
Well, it's a comic book shop,
And
so right.
yeah, in Cards, Comics, and Collectibles in Baltimore, I went there to do a signing, and they pointed to this chair, which is a Frank Cho's chair, and he comes in just about every day and sits there and eats his lunch or does a little drawing.
Well, I mean, again, it's the whole thing about like if you go to any shop, any retail shop, most retail shops like C's Candy, right? There's a bunch of C's Candies here, but if you go to C's Candy here in LA, there's one that's like connected to a factory. Although you can't really see it, but the fact that you know that the actual chocolates are being made here gives that specific location a little bit of an interesting factor. You know, if there are retail shops that make stuff, they have a window to showcase the workshop that's behind the retail component. You know, it's a little bit of a draw. So it's about finding the right artist, finding the right space, curating it. You know, like if Midtown Comics had a corner and they would say like this week we have Sean Chen coming in from 12 to 6 and he's going to be drawing Evermind.
Bring him a sandwich.
You know, why would you not want to do that? I mean, I think it would be a tremendous boost for both the shop and the creator. And if you have especially if you have an indie book, you know. But anyways, Cabone Inc. is here. Whoa!
It's been a while.
El Cabone, one of the first, if not the first. You guys know the story of El Cabone?
And his commission that got returned.
By the way, I haven't been able to stream the last few months due to an injury. So I have a torn rotator cuff on my drawing arm, and also a bicep tendonitis. And the bicep tendonitis, the bicep tendon is underneath the shoulder, the right shoulder. So every time I'm drawing and I'm moving my hand, I can actually feel soreness or tingling, like a discomfort. So I've really been trying to limit the amount of drawing that I do just to rest more. And I don't think, is Jay Dang on stream? Jay Dang, I was texting Jay Dang throughout the process because while I was in Taiwan, I went, to get some medical treatment, and ended up getting a couple of PRP shots. Do you guys know what those are?
P shot.
PRP.
Shots.
PRP shots.
PP shots.
Sean should know. Sean's the medical expert on the stream.
No, I only know P shots.
It was plasma-rich platelets. So, where Kobe had a couple of injuries a few years ago, he would fly to Germany to get PRP shots. Where
Isn't that called?
Huh?
Isn't that called doping? Isn't that called
Yeah.
doping?
No.
You have to go out of the country to get it.
It's available here in the U.S. now, but it's not as widely used in the U.S. because most insurance will not cover PRP, and so what they do is PRP is they draw your blood out, right? They draw out. I think it was like 50 cc's or 60 cc's of blood, and
And then they spin it,
they put it in a centrifuge where they spin it.
and it separates, right? And you get that yellow goop,
Yeah.
and they inject that into you.
So
Wow.
they separates the blood into like three different, there's a vial, right, that goes like looks like this, and this is your blood, and they spin it so fast. It's like about 15-20 minutes of spinning, and they spin it twice. So once they spin it, this part down here is going to be like all red, which is your dark blood, your blood.
It's salad dressing.
And then this part is like all kind of like yellow, almost like it looks like fat. It's like very yellow, thick liquid. And then there's like an orange layer right here in the middle. That's the rich platelet. So that's all the healing properties of your blood. And then when they spin it, they take this and they spin it again a second time. It gets even more refined. And then they take that amount and then they re-inject it back into the injury spot with the use of a sonogram. Not a sonogram, ultrasound. So I'm watching them insert is inserting the needle into the shoulder and into the point of the injury of the rotator cuff and the bicep tendon, and re-injecting this plasma-rich fluid back into the area in an effort to then naturally heal the injured area. So it's been about.
But
Huh?
Isn't this what Lance Armstrong got in trouble with? Doping? Isn't this doping?
How is it? It's not doping.
Well,
It's your own
it
blood.
comes from you. You know, it's not an outside source.
Yeah.
Right?
It's your
I
own
thought that
blood.
was like, what did Lance Armstrong get in problems with then? Because so what
Isn't
is
it steroids?
He had cancer.
no? I thought it was doping. No, he eventually got cancer, but I thought it was doping, which was injecting rich platelets into the system so he performs better.
Maybe, yeah.
There's
I
another.
think it's something to do with like blood, putting in fresh blood or something like that.
Well,
So
yeah.
that your body essentially heals quicker.
well.
Right.
So this
So
is your own
for
blood.
competition, it gives you an edge, but this
Yeah.
is not competition. This is just like occupation. You know?
Yeah. The comics code is not going to come down on me for doping. But I don't
You're
think
gonna
this
lose
is
your
the
job
same.
at Marvel.
There was also
Oh.
another amnio process where
from the womb.
well, yeah, they take it from an embryonic sample.
Wow. So
Um,
which woman let you have some of her amnio fluid?
No, it's from I think like an aborted baby or.
Oh,
Jesus.
Now
and
we-
he also has a cadaver ligament in his knee.
I have two
You like that,
cadaver
right?
ligaments. Daniel Ortiz, welcome to the stream. I have two cadaver ligaments. in my knees. No, so there was another option that they gave me. The doctors there, the PRP was the first one. The second one was the amnio graft. Typically, they use it for like a graft for a bone or where it's like a patch of actual tissue, human tissue, but from an embryonic source. And then they would,
Oh, wow.
inject it. They would then inject that into the injury spot. So that might be the thing where it's a foreign and that because it's a I think because it's an embryonic source, they say that the healing properties are much more potent, whereas depending on the quality of my own blood, being that I'm however old I am, can also affect the effectiveness of the PRP shot. So and the equipment used, so I ended up getting 2 PRP shots. The first one was a little, I was not very, it was a little wary of the first one. from the first doctor. Then I went and found a second doctor that I actually met on a previous trip. He was great, and he walked me through it. They had a double spin situation, whereas the first doctor was only one spin. So the second shot, so far right now, I still can't, I don't have full range in my right arm. Like I can't shoot a basketball. But it was at a point where I couldn't sleep at night because I could only sleep on my left side. I couldn't sleep on my back. I couldn't sleep on my front, and I couldn't sleep on my right side. And any movement while I was sleeping would irritate the shoulder to the point of pain that would wake me up. So for months I couldn't sleep. You know, I had to like get into a specific position and hope that I don't move. Otherwise, and then during the day, you know, putting on a jacket, putting on a shirt was next to impossible. So,
You know what caused this injury?
Well, from drawing.
Oh, so it's repetitive stress.
Yeah.
It's not from basketball? Okay.
It's not it wasn't a single traumatic moment. It was more of a just being an old man. So, but I do think it's from drawing.
What if they injected Jim Lee's platelets into your arm?
It might get rejected.
Oh, okay. You would
You'll
just
have
like
9 children.
you'll be like a kick-ass artist, you know.
Yeah.
Like I want to get some Frank Miller's, and
Well,
I'm gonna sell my PRP.
that would be interesting. You know, you could. I wonder if Travis Cherish sells his platelets.
Ask them.
You should sell yours, and just like maybe there's some gullible fans out there who think that you can tell them that it'll make them draw really well.
And so these shots too, they're not cheap because in the U.S. one PRP shot would be about $1,000 to $1,500, and in Taiwan it was half the cost. So I had 2 shots, so equivalent of 1 shot here, and I think I might need 1 more. But yeah, very interesting. So Yojimbo says Armstrong admitted using EPO, blood transfusion, testosterone, and corticosteroids. Yeah, so in the U.S., if I had seen a doctor here, they would have just given me a cortisone shot. And the cortisone...
Inflammation.
Well, the cortisone is basically a painkiller, and it doesn't really heal the area. It just prevents it from hurting. And then as I continue physical rehabilitation, chances are a torn rotator cuff could heal on its own. So, because when I draw, like you guys only see my hand, but typically when I'm moving stuff, you know, my hand does move around a lot. When I'm drawing, my whole arm is moving. And
I wonder how much of it's from the erasing.
well, I don't know. So, like when I'm doing this right now, and I have my left hands on my shoulder, I can feel my bicep moving. Right now, this is only my hand and my wrist, you know. But a lot of times I'm drawing and I'm moving all over, and then that does, you know, the pivot point is
injured in 2 places because the bicep and the rotator cuff are different places.
different
right?
location. Yeah. So the bicep is an inflammation, which is tendonitis. So the tendon that's connecting the bicep to the bone is inflamed, and that's causing one issue. And then the rotator cuff at the top is a slight tear.
Man.
And so even now,
imagine how much drawing. That's a lot of drawing you do in order for that to happen.
yeah. So even now when I'm sitting, like if I rest, it's still not. At times it's not comfortable. I can still feel it even at rest. So I've just been trying not to draw as much as I can. to heal. But then I got deadlines, and I got this this commission that I erased, and now I have to redraw.
Wow. Yeah, you figured
Okay.
you
I'm falling
you-
asleep, so I gotta go.
oh,
All right, Courtney.
Happy
thanks for
holidays.
hanging.
I think our stories
Holidays.
were too boring for her. Good night. Welcome back.
No, I fell asleep yesterday at 7:30. So I
Next-
need to eat dinner too. I didn't eat anything yet.
Next week
today.
you can tell us about your Japan trip.
Oh,
Yeah, I went to a whiskey festival too. That was fun. So we could talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Bye, everybody. Happy
holidays.
Night.
holidays.
All right.
Anything else
Have
about
to bring out
Comics
the
Pro?
porn.
No, but I'm also gonna get out of here.
Yeah, take your COVID test so you can get that off
Yeah.
your conscience, off your mind,
I will. I'll take it up right now.
and come back on if you have COVID.
All right, guys.
All right,
All right,
Fletch.
take care. Get better.
All right. Have fun.
Bye, Fletch.
Bye.
Jerry, before I forget, is there an issue with the film room? I haven't been able to get onto the film room.
Oh, I don't think so. Here, wait. Let me
Oh, okay.
send the link. You just maybe have a old ass computer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Sean, did you get a new computer yet, or are you're still on the same iMac?
It's still the same 2009.
Yeah, you might want to get a new one, man. I don't know why you're
Yeah,
still on the
what's
same
scary
old.
is
Huh?
my backup drive doesn't work, so everything's saved on this computer, and sometimes like 6 months worth of work on it, and I have to remember every once in a while just to zip it all in a file and then send it to myself just to have and so I don't lose it. All that work.
Why don't you get also an exterior hard drive?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Get a no,
Right.
you get a Samsung.
Just plug it in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically you just plug it into one of the USB ports, and you get a 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte, and it's like the size of a credit card. And you're good to go, and you can save everything on there, and you can bring that with you everywhere you go. I mean,
I better do that.
They're not that expensive either, Sean.
it's like $100.
Yeah, I just don't know. I just because I do have external hard drive, but however it was set up, it stopped doing the. I guess it does the regular scheduled backup, but it stopped doing that. So I guess I just have to get a plan B.
Yeah, because it probably doesn't have enough room. I mean, where is it backing up to?
It's mostly like an incompatible software thing. So it just stopped working one day, and I couldn't get it to work again. But I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna risk losing too much work.
Well, also because computer prices are going to go up, so you might as well get a new computer now, right?
I suppose.
Well, Apple has their back to school sale like every June, July. Just a couple months.
Yeah, Lurky
So
Lurk
it
says
is.
Samsung T7 or T9. Yeah, that's the ones I have. It's like this big. It's like
I'll look into that.
it's like the size of a. I have like 4 or 5 of those. I bring one when I travel with me, so in case anything happens to my iMac that I have all my files on, I can still have the files that I can work with.
I'll check that out.
And yeah, it's like a $100 bucks, $150.
Does it work like a thumb drive where you just drag things into it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
You don't need any software. You basically plug it in. It'll show up on your desktop, and then you just drag stuff into it, and you're done.
All right,
So
that's what I gotta do.
and get a new computer.
Yeah, that's what I gotta do.
The only thing with getting a new computer is you might not be able to use your current software.
Yeah, that's what scares me because it's going to open up a whole can of worms that it's going to take a while to resolve it all.
Well, your
When I
Photoshop.
got my new iMac last summer, my old iMac was so old that it was like it just took longer to transfer everything over and to update it. But it was fine. It just took me like a day instead of a couple of hours. You know what I mean?
I've been working on this pose for the last hour, but I'm not too.
Well,
happy
you would
with
do
it.
It's because you're on stream, right? So
Yeah.
your attention is divided. But you'll get it.
Oh yeah, actually, while we're on the stream, when us artists post our drawings on Instagram and whatever it is that we use, do you guys prefer just to see regular still photos of the drawing, or actual video of like the drawing in progress?
Well,
Does that
the
even matter?
video does better for you. I mean, you should think about the algorithm.
I don't really care about the algorithm. I'm asking these guys actually these specifically are guys watching the stream here if they prefer watching the video or just the photo, or I guess both. Should
Yeah,
we
but,
be
I
doing
mean,
both?
Yeah, ideally both. So if you do like a carousel that has like the finished thing and then some process stuff, like a time lapse.
I just bought that stupid like phone easel thing, so I can actually record my drawings now. So I think I might start doing that.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, you should sign up your own YouTube, and then you can put it up on there.
Oh, nah.
But you got to edit it.
Yeah, that sounds like too much.
You know.
You gotta make it as easy as possible. It's not really sustainable if you have to really set up things and get the lighting right and everything. You'll just eventually stop doing it. So you gotta make it very easy. You just plop it down, flick everything on, and then start recording, and then just forget your recording, and then you'll just have a lot of stuff banked, and then get someone else at it.
Or start drawing on the iPad. The Procreate.
I don't think I'm ever going to draw on the iPad. So I think this summer when Apple has their sale, I'm going to be buying a new laptop, and I'm going to buy a Cintiq. What do you call those? Cintiq One?
I don't know. What are they? Is the monitor?
Yeah, it's a portable Wacom, basically. That's all it is.
So it's like an iPad.
Yeah, except I can use Illustrator and Photoshop on it easier.
Okay.
And I'll just have to like everywhere whenever I travel, I have to carry like a mini studio with me everywhere I go.
Yeah, that's a pain.
Does anyone here use Cintiq in chat?
I love my Cintiq.
El Capone says he prefers seeing the still. But unfortunately, Sean is right. The reel will get more views and engagement. I mean, I enjoy some videos where you get to see the artist draw, but again, it's all sped up, right? So, and then like you just posted one recently, didn't you? Where you're drawing the tiles.
Yeah.
But that one is you're drawing tiles, so that would be
Yeah.
my only criticism.
I want you to draw the face.
That's my Pearl River drawing.
Yeah, but I mean, but you're drawing tiles, so it's like, okay, you're drawing, but it's like tiles.
Yeah, I don't draw anything important. I can't record myself drawing a face, so I'm always like filling in dark areas.
You know, the truth is, it's just because I can't remember to set it up when I draw a face. And then when I draw the tiles, it's like, oh yeah, I should probably record it. So I record the tiles.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, a lot of times people take the still image and then make a reel out of the still image, and you still get engagement for that. So it doesn't really matter what you're filming. You just show the artwork, and then if it's some video and then you get to see the finished product. I think that's all that matters.
And I don't have to talk during it, right?
It does better if you do talk. You should try it.
Right.
You should try talking, and then you try it with the captions and talking with captions, and you'll see like there's a difference in how people engage. So I think the best thing is when you talk and have the words appear on the screen while you're talking.
How do you do that?
Probably the best.
Is that a program where you got to type it in yourself?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done it, but I got invited to one of those Instagram creators lab thing. So I was going to give a piece of my mind to Adam Wasari and ask him why I'm being shadow banned.
Who's Adam Lasari?
Mr. Instagram.
Is he like the guy that was Mr. MySpace?
He's the guy that is in charge of everything at
That's not-
Instagram, and he
That's not-
kind of gives once in a while gives tips and tricks on how you. Very rarely he speaks, and you have to listen to everything he says because he's going to tell you what matters in the next few months with Instagram.
So what is when did you go to this thing?
This one I didn't. This one was just online, but then I'm going to one in the city, but sometime in a few months or so.
So what is the thing now to do?
Well, it's kind of exactly what you think. It's like you treat it like TikTok. The more it's like TikTok, the better.
So you have to do reels
You gotta do it all.
and
Usually
and what?
threads and story. You do it all, and then you do it on a regular basis, and it's really not sustainable. If you're an artist and you're busy, I would say just don't do it because there's no way you can keep it up. But if you're serious about growing, you gotta post on a regular schedule at least 3 times a week.
3 times a week. I post like 3 times every 2 months.
Well, ideally every day for the most reach.
What?
Yeah.
There's only so many tiles a man can draw.
I know. When I was like in around 2019, I was posting every day.
Well, Sean grew. Sean started after all of us, and are you close to 100 now?
No, I'm being throttled back for an unknown reason.
You're being throttled back.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, at least
I
you're being
think a lot of
throttled.
it is. When I did those paper running figures, they got so much engagement, like into the millions, and then I stopped doing those. So I think they're kind of punishing. Like the numbers have to revert back to something realistic. So I'm actually moving backwards.
Well, I'm basically been treading water the last 2 years.
Yeah, that's everybody. That's everybody.
I haven't gained or I haven't. I mean, I'm constantly gaining and I'm constantly losing. And if you look at the scale, it's like up and down, but the average is like 0. So
Yeah.
some days I'll gain more, but then the next day I'll lose double. So it's and I don't have stuff to post because everything is
Yeah,
the one thing
that's
drawing
hard.
for Marvel, they don't like you showing stuff without it being approved. So
Yeah, I had to sign this thing for the Ultraman card game. I'm not supposed to show any of it ever, but they're in Japan, so
ever, yeah, but Instagram is around the world.
yeah. But I don't know, like, are they gonna like fly over here and put me in kind of card art jail?
Oh,
And they just probably won't hire me again. But then again, I didn't have the greatest time working for them.
that was the Jeff Gomez thing.
Yeah, they'll send it back like 10 times for little revisions
yeah.
over and over again.
Oh yeah. So I was just wondering, now that I'm working with a writer and all that stuff, how often, if ever, do you guys have to redraw pages or panels because your writer is just not happy with
Never,
it?
never.
Because the writer's not happy, or
Yeah.
the editor.
The writer works for you.
Yeah, Jerry, you got
Yeah,
the,
the
you got the
edit is-
horse before the cart before the horse.
Yeah, I think the editor might do it in the beginning, like a few things that really matter. After a while, they just stop caring, and then really you can go for years and never have to redraw anything unless it's like a serious misunderstanding or something.
Well,
It's mostly because they don't care that much. But if you're doing a project where it really matters, I don't think it's a bad thing to do a lot of revisiting stuff. You know,
well, do you show? I guess you were talking about this before we started streaming. I do layouts, and then I send the layouts to the editor and writers, right? And if any of the stuff changes, I'll make a note of that, and I'll like explain why I kind of made a change. Then that's usually at the very beginning of the project, and then by the time you get to the second, third, fourth issue, anytime I want to make changes, I'll still make a comment about it, but there won't really be. It's a trust issue, right? So, do you have an example of stuff that's being changed that you want to talk about, or you can talk about?
do you agree with the change, or like is the person right?
Well, maybe they. I don't know. I'm not gonna talk about it here.
Okay, we can talk about it. We can talk about
It's
it
hardening.
offline.
It is actually absolutely heartbreaking when you have to redraw something because like a lot of times like it's very hard. Like for me, it's 3 days to do a page, and if they come back and say, "Oh, this got to be changed," it's just like I wasn't planning on getting behind an entire day or two, and it sucks. And if there's any time where they have no problems with what you draw, it's because they stop caring, and that kind of works to your advantage.
Well, I've had also. I've had to do revisions before, or patches. Some of the patches are things that I see afterwards. Some of them might be the editor or the writer might say something or see something that I missed, a detail here or there, like, oh, I forgot to draw the ring on Green Lantern, or like little things, and then I'll do a patch digitally, which basically I'll redraw it. I'll just draw something over it, and then send that over to the colorist. And it's not, because it's digital, again, I'm not redrawing the whole thing. I'm just drawing that area, right?
Well, you did the ultimate redraw, right? The ultimate redraw, which is a Children of the Atom.
Well, I've done so like on that, I redrew an entire page because I didn't like how the original storytelling was. And
after it went to print, though, right?
Well, it got turned in, and I was already on the second issue, but then they stopped the book, and because of COVID, and because they stopped the book, when they picked it back up like a couple months later, with a new launch date, I was looking through the issue, and I felt like the storytelling on the last page was not clear enough. So I redrew it and then paid out of my own pocket the colors to recolor it. And so that's where like there was a discrepancy between the digital version. Online digital version had the old page, but the printed version had the new page to it. That's only also because we had the extra time, and that wasn't an editorial change at all, much to the chagrin of the online trolls. We had a whole bunch of different conspiracy theories, but they're all wrong. I think it's. We'll talk about it offline then, Jerry. But Um, Usually, the writer doesn't really request any revisions or changes, because the writer is really there to me, in my opinion, always, the writer is like the coach. The coach sets the plays, sets the strategies, and then you, as the artist, you're the player. You're the one that has to put the ball through the hoop.
Yeah, we got to execute it.
You got to execute it. So he may, the writer might say, "Look, we're playing against Patrick Ewing, so we're going to need to we're going to need to counter his height, maybe by speeding the game up, and let's push the ball up a little bit more. Let's do some fast breaks on defense. Let's double team this. Let's, whatever, right? So that's the story. But then you're the one that has to go and take that strategy, that story, and execute it and draw it. Does the writer on a movie ever ask for a reshoot? I don't know. I don't think so. It's mostly the director. And who's the director in a comic book? You. Right? So,
And do you guys have an editor? The
We
editor
do,
is a,
but
is a referee.
our editor, I've actually requested the editor to basically stay away.
Oh, okay. Well, like I think it's these changes are good because you can always, when you revisit stuff, do it better. And the fact that the writer or you are making change, like Bernard made his own change, that was his decision at his cost. So when you really care, things are being redone all the time. But in corporate comics like Marvel and DC, like no one cares. You just got to keep it moving, got to fill the shelves because it really is about the variant cover and filling the shelves.
well,
So you don't want to cause trouble.
I have had requests to redraw stuff from legal. So,
Oh, sure. Well, that's, I guess it's a separate thing. But
a few books they'll come back and they'll say like, this sign that you drew in the background, what does that mean? Is that an actual store? Is that reference to someone's name? And I think this all comes down from back when Marvel had a controversy where some artists were throwing in things in the background, some controversial messages in the background, and so they've had to be a little bit more strict with the legal component. So I've been asked to make patches for that. It's frustrating. It's because most of the stuff in there, like, they don't mean anything. They're just even like it came down to like, oh, this license plate number, what does that mean? I'm like, it's ABC 123. I just drew it in there just to draw. Oh, okay. Can you take it out? And there's a store name. What does that mean? I'm like, oh, that's my buddy's name.
The store's name is Holocaust Never Happened. That's us. We're the shoe store.
So they're extremely cautious about that component. So you might.
You showed your comic to Bernard that a while back, and then you basically redid the first thing.
yeah, but that was different. That's like my own, based on.
I guess it matters whether you agree with the changes that are being asked. So it shouldn't be making any type of visual determinations for you.
Well, Sean, as a writer and artist, did the writer half of you ever ask the artist half of you to redraw stuff?
Yeah, I do it. Yeah, I do it all the time. Mostly because I don't fully write everything, so sometimes the drawing gets ahead of the writing, and then the writer and the artist have a falling out and a big fight. So,
look,
yes.
different writers have different styles. When I was working with Dan Jurgens on Batman Beyond, he was very open. He worked in a plot format. I requested that he worked in a plot format, and it was easier. It's more efficient. And then he would go in and write the dialogue after I was done drawing the pencils. It was a little bit more work for him. but he enjoyed that old kind of Marvel style. And
You know,
hmm?
if this is a writer I'm thinking of that you're working with, Jerry, I think Bernard found him to be particularly unyielding when there was a problem with the writing and the art in the past.
Yeah, he can
With
be a
this,
little. I mean, like for example, when I worked with Walt, and I remember there's one thing I wasn't sure what he was writing, and I sketched it out. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it."
yeah,
He's just like, "It's okay. Don't worry." I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, okay."
And some writers have a vision and they get to be kind of micromanaging, and I think Bernard had a little bit of issue with that as well. So you're not alone.
Well, it's also, I mean, look, you're the artist, and you're the one that gets to dictate how much room and space goes on a page, and what is ultimately visually more interesting to read, right? You're not reading a book; you're reading a comic book, or a graphic novel. So the pictures help tell the story, and if there's justification for what you did, um, I do think it does override, unless the story component is being lost.
Hey, there's a question from Kabong Inc. for YouTube Pros. Do you get the same royalties for online sales that you do for physical floppies? I don't know. The price is different, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I know I get royalties for both, but I don't know what. I mean, it's just basically one check with all the. And
you just get some money. You're like, sweet.
yeah. One time I got one of those. It's usually like $50. I worked for Marvel for a long time, and it's like $50, $60. One time it was like $3,000. I don't know what it is. I can't read because it's like a code on there. Like I don't understand it, so I just take it on faith that it's for something.
Yeah, I think. I mean the royalty rate. The traditional royalty rate for all that's watching and listening. Uh, is set on sales, right? So, um, back at Valiant, the first royalty threshold was 60,000. So you had to sell 60,000 copies in order for royalties to kick in. If you sold 59,999, you don't get a single penny in royalties. But if you sold 60,000, then you get royalties for all 60,000. Then there's thresholds. So you have 60 to 80 or 85. Then if it hits at 85, then you get, so let's say for 60, you get a penny for every single book, which comes out to what, $600 or 6,000? I don't know. What's the math? At 85, you get 1.25 cents for every book from 60,000 to 85. Then you have another threshold. Let's say it's 100,000. So if you break 100,000, then you get 1.5 cents for every book from 85 to 100, and then whatever the next threshold is, and so on. Online, I think there's two components for online digital sales. So, or there's three components. One is you can buy a digital copy, for X amount of money. I don't think the royalty is the same as it is for a hard copy. That's kind of Cabone's question. But there's also another metric where Marvel and DC now have subscription services. So you could pay a 1 month, one fee subscription service and read all the comics that are available under that subscription service. So there's another metric to count that, right? So, and I don't know what that is. And then the third metric is pirated downloads, which we don't get a single penny of. So I don't think the digital sales are anywhere near the hard copy sales. Sean, do you have?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a comic from the big two in a while. So the only royalties I get are just residual stuff that comes in every quarter.
But what about for your creator-owned stuff then? Because you have
Oh,
you had your Wingman that was a digital, and then you have your, and then it became a hard copy, and then or your Evermind. Does that?
yeah. Well, I think that's going to be ironed out when Crease's book is, because I never really asked about it. I just know that we get a page rate for writing and drawing, and then all the stuff is still very experimental because we were supposed to do like NFTs and stuff like that. So, and then we just didn't know until fairly recently that Kickstarter was the way we were going. So that stuff still has to be figured out. And not the best way to do business, but
And you get, I mean, it's again we do get a royalty check statement, but as Sean said, a lot of that statement there'll be units. The DC royalty check, the DC royalty statement does give you units, exact units sold, but it's so minimal in a sense that you're not selling like 1 million copies because of digital piracy. That you do see like, oh, I get 30 cents here, 50 cents there, $5 here, $100 there, another 35 cents here for this book. So it's a difficult question to answer. But yeah, and I don't know how the sub-services work. I don't know how the subscription services work. If there's a viewership
also
number.
I think for Marvel, after you get past 6 years, you don't get anything.
So there are different royalty programs. I will say this, depending on the creator and what you can negotiate. I know, again, using Valiant as an example, back in the day, when they brought in some other artists, for Sean and myself, we were the young guys, so we kind of had the entry level. Initially, we had the entry level royalty program, but then when they brought in some of the more established creatives midway through our run, what I heard from and rumors that they were getting royalty programs that were much higher. The thresholds were much better than what we were getting. So there is that component. Now, if you talk about mainstream publishing, like children's book publishing, you get your advance. So it works in a different way. And I don't know if Jerry, I guess you guys are still doing a traditional page rate format, or is it an advance
with royalties too?
But it's not
so
an advance.
yeah.
Though.
Well, they had since mine's a little different. Since it's an existing IP,
Yeah.
They had to technically buy the rights to publish it from me,
Okay.
and then give me a page rate as well as the royalty.
Because the children's book that I've done for Scholastic, I don't know, I had just a brain fart there. For Scholastic, it was an advance, so they would pay you, negotiate a rate, an overall rate. This was the same thing with Regan Books or HarperCollins, and you would get half of that, whatever you negotiated on. When you sign a deal, and you get the other half when you turn in the book. So, if it takes you like a year to draw it, well, you could run out of money halfway through, right? And then you got to find another job to make money so that you can pay rent before you can get your other half back. And then that royalty rate, that advance rate, is advance against royalties. So then they've pre-calculated before you need to sell X number of copies to reach the threshold of where they paid you for your advance. Right? Hence, advance. They give you the money in advance. If it doesn't reach that threshold, there is sometimes, depending on your contract, a possibility that the publisher could come back and ask for that money back. I think it rarely happens, but it is possible. Like if you don't fulfill certain parts of the premise of the initial contract, they could come back and try to get some of that money back. Sean, you were going to say something, or?
Oh no, I think that just sounds horrible.
So, and again, some of that is accounting. So, for the most part, even you want to go and start figuring out the accounting aspect. Well, you got to hire forensic accountants that'll then go into the company and go through their books and then find out if you're paid accordingly. I think Jimmy Palmiotti had a couple of Twitter posts about this kind of thing, where a few years ago he had to go back and audit one of the publishers that he worked with, and found that there were discrepancies in monies that he was owed royalty-wise, and it was corrected. But to do that, again, you need to spend money. I don't know if he got money back from the forensic guy to pay the forensic guy, but I feel like there's more of an audience to tap into with the Kickstarter and internet, but not sure if we'll buy in for every success. There are many failures.
Yeah, we're just kind of like waiting to see what the method is for distribution of comics, and so far, like Kickstarter has been working. I don't know if it's the future, but it seems to work well for independents. But we just don't know who's going to be distributing, and will it be comic book stores or is it going to be direct to readers? It's a very complex issue with a lot of nuance. So I'm just waiting for the dust to settle and see how we'll be doing business going forward.
Oh, Sean, do you know when you're going to have your Evermind #2 Kickstarter?
This summer.
This summer.
Yeah.
Is it going to be like 3 issues again, or just one?
Yeah, probably 3 issues again.
I don't understand why is it 3 issues for one Kickstarter?
I think when I did the first issue, they're like, "Oh, this is great. Let's do a Kickstarter." And then I already finished issue 2 by then, and it's like, "Wow, this is even better." So let's put it together. and then the third one came out. I was like, "Well, if we put out the third issue, then we get to an ending point, and it just feels like a package." And really, that's all it was. And I don't think Carl had that much experience. Like, I think a lot of people have been saying, like, you're leaving a lot of money on the table doing it this way. A lot of people are reluctant to buy it this way. So initially it was just like we're doing what feels right, but I think it's one of those things where we learn as you go along the way, and we'll see. But also the economy is really, really bad now. So, and Kickstarters used to get like tons and tons of money from anyone who did it, and now that money's just not coming in. So there's a lot more projects going. So we're just kind of trying to figure this out. And I suspect like putting 3 issues in a row and together is a bold move that I don't really know whether it's the right move.
Well, he's doing the same thing for Bladesmith, right?
Yeah.
He's packaging 3
3
issues into one campaign. So, like, my question is like, I don't understand the reasoning behind that. because you're printing 3 separate products, or 6, or multiples, because there's all these variant covers for each issue, which drives up your initial hard costs, right? Your production costs.
Yeah, why not just make one big comic?
Right. So why not just do one comic, one graphic novel, one 100-page book instead of 3 20-something page books, or one 80-page book instead of 3 20-something, page books with 3 different covers.
Yeah, I think in time we wouldn't be doing it this way.
Or do like why even the issues? Because the issues are, well, okay, more for stores. Now he's at Comics Pro, so he's trying to sell books to stores now. But again, with Kickstarter, when did Evermind come out?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So is the business plan that you're going to retain the same customers every 2 years?
Yeah, we don't know.
I mean, I think it's like it's not a movie. A movie comes out every 2 years, but also because it takes so long to make a movie. But like, why not, again, just, I know he wants to do the trade, but you could still do the trade, but I would just do 2 or 3 Kickstarter events back to back to back, as opposed to one, and build off of a consistent library if you're a publisher, right? I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah, well, ideally, you would have lots of products just coming out one after the other.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we ask the chat here what they think? Like, would they prefer 3 issues at once, one thick book like graph trade, or 3 campaigns where back to back to back as your 3 options, right?
I think eventually this book is going to come out in so many different forms with so many different covers.
Yeah, because
that's what people do now.
You're getting like 3. Like, if I actually bought or supported the Bladesmith campaign, right? So
you did?
It's like $35 for 3 issues, right? But so it's like $10 and $12 an issue. Not including shipping and tax. So you're gonna do one campaign, and then when is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3? When's 4, 5, 6 coming out? 4, 5, 6 not gonna come out until like
now.
Huh? He's drawing it right now.
He's
but
still drawing it.
Yeah, I mean, he's still drawing 1, 2, and 3 right now, right? Or is that already? Or I guess, I don't know if you want to say if it's already done or not.
I think that's done. Yeah.
Okay, so when is 4, 5, and 6? Is that going to come out at the end of the year, or is it something that, like, I feel
it's going to be another book slotted in? So they're different titles, so that there's always a Kickstarter running, but you don't get back to the second part of your book until later.
Yeah, but and what is the reasoning behind that?
Well, I'm sure Carl has his reasons.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know what they are, but I'm taking on writing for the first time, and as well as the art. So that's my bandwidth. I just can't deal with the business side. So I just don't even get into it with him, because like some of the stuff really leaves me scratching my head. But I know he's given it a lot of thought, and things will probably change as we move forward.
Well, Jerry, yours is a 1 book, right? 1 volume.
Yeah, it's going to be one giant book, like a 200-page book.
Whoa.
Right, because the other thing is, if you're doing multiple issues, so you're going to have 6 issues of Evermind, and there's going to be 6 issues of Bladesmith. Um, is that for the collectability issue of it? Is that for the collectability factor that, oh, issue 1 is going to be worth more than issue 2 than it is going to be issue 3? But the print run of issue 1 is the same as the print run for issue 2 as it is for issue 3. And so, like, collectability wise, what is the thinking behind that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good point. So
Wouldn't you rather just have one number 1 issue and then one number 2 volume, volume number 1, volume number 2? And then storytelling wise, like, as a writer, why conform yourself to 20 something pages per story, per chapter?
Yeah, you have to come up with 3 starts and 3 endings rather than just 1 start and 1 ending.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, what is the reason behind that? Is there an actual storytelling purpose, or is it just because the answer is that this is how comics have been?
I often note, like, when a new book comes out, everyone buys the first issue, and then you've been waiting for it for so long, and you're going to get an idea of finally see what it's about and determine whether you like it or not. The first issue comes out and you read it, and you're like, oh, was it good or was it not? Like, I don't really know. There's not much there yet. I'll know definitely by the end of issue 2. And then you buy the second one. It's like, well, I really need the third issue. And after a while, I was like, oh, it was terrible. But I bought 3 issues before I could determine that. Because there's really not much you can do in one issue.
Right, but that's there's not much you can do with one issue with 22 pages or 24 pages or whatever it is, or 20 pages. Yeah, that's true. But why limit yourself to 20 something pages for the story in the first place?
Yeah, just like, why not just make it one 60-page book? Like.
Right, and the other thing is, like, some of these. So I worked with a company before that was doing Kickstarter, and they wanted me to draw a book, and I said I can't, but I'll help you, review the script and give you pointers. And so I read the first issue script, and it was like I want to say it was like a 30 or 40 page first issue. And so the first question I had was, well, when is the second issue coming out? I said, well, we're only working on the first issue right now. So that's already to me, you're dead in the water, right? Because it's actually a 4-issue story or 4-chapter story. But then, okay, so all right, first issue has not come out yet. You're going to work on the first issue, but in the first issue, you've written it as if it's part of 4. So that's my question to you, Sean. Is like, are you writing each issue based as if it's 1 of 4, or now you're writing 4 of 6, 5 of 6, 6 of 6? Are you thinking in that as you're writing and formatting? And do you find that limits some of the storytelling, or is that something that you're just comfortable with? Because going back to the other Kickstarter, well, I said, okay, yeah, it's one. I see how they're thinking of 1 of 4, but if 2, 3, and 4 are not going to come out until next year and a year later, and 3 years, you're looking at 3 years by the time the last 3 or 4 years, by the time the 4th issue comes out, the completion of your story, who's going to remember any of this stuff? Right? Who's going to remember any of these components used? And the other thing is that the first issue, the character's not even in the superhero outfit. Right? And they're like, oh, yeah, well, the second issue. Besides, the second issue is not going to come out until 1 year from now at the earliest. And the second issue, actually, the first issue came out, and the second issue has not come out yet. And it's been like 4 years or 3 years. And I said, well, look, if you can't think about it as 1 of 4, because you got to hook the audience into this character. And if you don't have the main character dressed in the superhero outfit in that first issue, then forget it. Why am I reading this? Because the cover has the character in the superhero outfit, right? It doesn't make any sense at all because you're thinking of, or they were thinking of one thing without the realization of what is the product that they're actually creating. So, anyways, Sean, Jerry, back to you guys. So Yojimbo says you're going to bleed your audience dry. They will get tired of overpaying for a fraction of a story. Try selling a single issue as Kickstarter or crowdfunded collectors. Because here's the other thing, like Ripaverse. Do you guys know about Ripaverse?
What's
Oh,
that?
yeah.
Eric July.
Eric July.
Right.
Sorry?
Eric July. I don't like the guy. He's grifter, I guess. But
Oh, wow.
you know, he was an online critic. Hates Marvel, DC. Says that, you know, fuck everybody. He's going to come out with his own comic. And to his credit, the first comic book I think sold 2 million.
Millions.
Huh? 2 or 3 million. He
Yeah,
made $2 or
3
$3 million
million.
off of the first book, or issue 1. Issue 2 came out like I think 2 years after the fact, and it was half the number of sales. So first issue was 3 million, second issue was 1.5.
Well, it's still a lot.
It's still a ton. Yeah, I mean, but and it's one issue with like, you know, 4 different variant covers plus T-shirts, posters. I mean, all that money gets T-shirts, posters that get thrown into that 3 million, right, or that 1.5 million. The third issue is coming out, I think now, around now. There's a campaign for the third issue now, and I don't know where it's at, but I'm anticipating it to be maybe half or 2/3 of issue 2. So he might still break $1 million, but I don't know. He's also subsequently over the course of time, every year he's had one book come out. So I think it's been like 3 or 4 years now. So he's had other books come out, and they've also, each book has incrementally decreased in sales. So the second book was like a teen book. I think that sold 1.2, and then it's been subsequently less than that. So now the other books that are coming out are also less than $1 million. I mean, they're still tremendous. You know, $700,000, $800,000 for a campaign is tremendous. But he's selling a book, a 30-page book, 40-page book for $35, $40. You know, and again, that number includes merch like hats, T-shirts, posters. But the sales will continue to decrease. And what are the factors of that? Well, the quality of the books are horrible. I've never seen one in hand, but I've seen online reviews where they kind of go over the book, and it's horrible. I mean, I wouldn't even, you know, it's just horrible. And so part of it is, well, can you blame, is the economy going bad? Is the quality of the book? I think some of that is the quality. I mean, a lot of the purchases were also based on, what is the term? Is that virtual signaling for a particular? It's a right. I mean, they're right-wing comics.
Yeah, you're basically buying into an ideology because you haven't seen or read the book, so it's basically a sales pitch, and politics plays a lot into it. It's like if you're really angry at Marvel or DC, then this is the book you pick up to show your displeasure.
Right.
And vote for the independent creator, and then they get the book and read it. And I think the art and the writing is not fantastic. So it's just basically writing on ideology.
and I think like, look, hey, if he can bring in, you know, 1,000, if he can bring in 10,000, but again, he's only selling, um, you know, a few thousand copies of every book. I think the average amount that a customer is spending is over $100 per purchase, right? So they're getting a comic book plus a T-shirt plus a poster, or they're getting multiple copies of the same comic book but different variant covers. Um, so it's just like a lot. I mean, it's a lot of like you're buying like the same thing multiple times. So I don't think there's a good feeling with that too as a customer. I mean, I understand that the variant covers is a very much staple of the industry as it is now, but to be shelling out hundreds of dollars for basically the same book, you know, 3, 4, 5 times. That's what the speculator market was back in the 90s, right? But anyways, the quality of the book is horrible. The quality of the books were horrible. So I think that's the main reason why some of the books aren't selling well. But also, it's just every book that comes out, most books tend to follow this trend where they start at A. Number 2 is half of A. Number 3 is half of. The third book is half of 2, and then 4th 5, and then you kind of settle around a certain thing. There's certain things you can do to boost the sales, but it's a sliding scale. Then it jumps up a little bit, then it slides back down, jumps up, then slides back down.
I wonder though if there's a way to get around that. I
Oh,
think,
there is. There
'cause I
is.
know. I mean, in terms of like with writing and the quality, is everything that I've been studying about writing is I found that it's extremely hard to write well. And when you write well, there's a momentum that builds it. The more you read, the more you want to read, and that's what you want. But very few people can do it. So I think the average comic book writer is just like not a very good writer, which is fine. I mean, it's comics. So you read the first one, just selling based on hype, and then the writer doesn't do that good of a job of making you have to come back for season 2 or like the next issue. So you just get more and more drop off. So not every book is like that because we know, like, you know, a lot of the Robert Kirkman books seem to buck that trend.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give away my secret to that, but this is a secret that was learned at Valiant. But there are ways, there are methods to boost the sales. So, as an independent comic, it's a little bit difficult. It's a little bit more difficult. But there are ways. But it's a sliding
Are
scale.
those,
It's a
is it a business
diminishing.
gimmick or is it like a creative choice thing?
There's both. There's
Okay.
both. But you know, so, but I'm assuming a lot of Eric July's initial customers were non-comic book readers. You know, maybe they probably all watched because he also has his own right-wing media. So, you know, he's on the what? Not the what was the guy? It's on a bunch of right-wing media. So a lot of people were buying the books to support that particular narrative. And hey, I think it's great if he can bring in new readers into comics, and if he can produce a quality book, tremendous. That's great. That would
Yeah,
be
that's
great
the problem.
because then you bring in a new reader, and if he's reading like great comics, a great product, then they're eventually going to want even more product. So then eventually, hopefully, they'll find their way to a comic book store, and then realize that, you know, all this blabber about Marvel and DC, how Marvel and DC is woke or whatever, is all a lot of like BS. There's some truth to some of that stuff, but it's also mostly BS. And that there is actually a lot of really great comic books being published today. And then they'll go to the comic book store and they'll buy these comics. Whether it's independent comics, Image Comics, whether it's Evermind or it's Jerry's new book, whatever. There's a ton of great comics out there. So, but I don't think that's happened because those people got a shit product, and now he's probably turned off a whole audience that would be at least into reading comics. And anybody says that those comics are good, they're lying to themselves, because they spend $100. They don't want to look like a fool. So,
well, there's the same problem in streaming. If you watch a lot of these streaming shows, the first season everyone's like really into it. It's like the water cooler talk. Everyone's like, you got to watch it. And then the second season comes out, and then it starts to taper off. Like the quality seems to drop, and then it usually doesn't get past the second season, or like it just drops off completely, and people just give up. The third season is never good. So that's basically a creative writing issue, which no one can seem to get around. But a really good writer should be able to make the story like building become more and more popular every year. But
Sean,
that person's worth $1 billion, but we don't know how to do that.
Sean, you're talking about.
it's too
Well,
difficult.
sorry, I missed the earlier part. You're talking about TV shows.
Yeah, like streaming shows, it's tough to get past the second season.
Well,
in
I
terms
can
of
I can tell
hype
you
and
why
quality.
some of that stuff. Because look, TV shows are teams of writers, a dozen writers in a room. There's a showrunner, the lead writer, but there's usually, if you're on a popular show, and you're part of that team, and you're into the second season, some of those guys move on to other shows. It's not the same writers.
Right. So yeah, I mean that's the idea, is that the quality drops. But like if you imagine reading Watchmen, who's going to get to issue 3 and just like I've had enough. I don't really care what happens next. He's just such a good writer that people will read all 12 issues and continue to read all 12 issues for decades afterwards. But he's like only one guy. He's like super talented, genius.
But I mean, I think that using those kind of examples, now you're talking about like outliers in the business.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Harry Potter. Like there's very few of those people who can actually do that.
Ooh, Va'air is here. Va'air. This is we're getting some old OGs back. First El Cabon, Cabon Inc. Now Va'air. Wow. I wonder if D. Rogers is still on the flight. Virtual signaling is when you do stuff to show how woke and progressive you are, usually. So is there a right-wing term for virtual signaling? To show how conservative or traditional you are?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that virtue signaling only a left issue?
Yeah, I thought virtual signaling was just you're signaling your own virtue, whether it's conservative or progressive or yeah. And the numbers can't be verified by anyone but him because he's taking orders on his site. Yeah, so again, those are numbers that are again, it's not like they weren't sold on Kickstarter, so it wasn't like there was an independent verification of sales. You should have done. Sean Carl should have had his own site and promoted that he sold 1 million copies. I mean, here's one more question I have for you, Sean. Aside from issue 6, is this a finite story, or is this something that you want to continue writing?
Yeah, like in terms of like the business side of things, I'm kind of like not following any of the rules, because like the kind of stories I like to tell is more like a screenplay, and I'm treating it like a screenplay, so it does have an ending, and no one's pushed back to like, well, one of the main characters is going to die. They don't say like, oh, don't do that. I'm sure I'm doing a lot of bad business things, but also, for some reason, I don't give a shit about the sales at all. I mean, I kind of do. That's more what the company needs to survive. But I'm just doing whatever, and Carl is just saying like, "Well, okay, you do it," because this is not the typical way a comic book is put together. There's way too much time being spent on the art, and then people usually don't revise their writing like maybe 7 or 10 times for a comic book. You just don't do it because it's not worth it. It just doesn't pay to do that, and no, So I'm just doing my own thing. I have no idea what the business repercussions are, but I'm sure it's not good. A good way to do this. But the story ends, and then I don't think anything's going to happen afterwards. And if anything more is written, it's not going to be by me. So.
Well, the story ends, but there's multiple characters in the story. Like not everybody dies, right?
Yeah, you kind of end the character story, but keep the plot theme open to be revisited. So they can do whatever they want. I'll move on to another story. So.
Oh yeah, so Sean, you're kind of tired of drawing all the tech?
No, I mean, I think I never liked it. I think I was tired of doing that when I did Iron Man, but I like the way it looks, and I think that people kind of expect that from me. Like they kind of want that. So, yeah, I never liked doing it. I think it's like be horrible, but then when I look at the finished product, it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. It's more fun than drawing a jungle or something organic. So, but it's a pain.
All right, well, let's get out of here. It's
we don't see any inks.
I don't think I'm going to be able to ink this today.
I'm glad you got a pose that you're stuck with. So this is
Yeah.
the rare down shot because they're almost always up shots.
I actually like this. I like this pose. The down shot gives you a bigger head, right? Which I'm assuming if you want a commission of a character, this is you want to see the head. This is opposed to a small head. It's nice to have.
Otherwise, it'd be a lot of leg, a lot of big foot,
Right.
and then a small head.
The other version would have been like all, would have been like
A knee, a crotch.
would have been a foot, a leg, and then his head would be like this big, right? This would have been the other. I mean, it's a cool shot, but it's a big cloud. So there are some details with the character that I forgot that I have to look at some.
Even though you drew them that many times.
Yeah, I forgot how this goes.
I had to change a character design that I just drew because I forgot one thing that the character is having, and I only drew it into one panel out of like 10.
But do you think people notice that? Because I change things a lot, and I think when you hear a lot of creators talk about their work, how the character is drawn differently from the beginning to the end, and no one really notices.
But I will notice.
If I needed a crash course on the Monkey King, what's the best source? I know there's that Netflix one, but that's like very Disney, like very.
Oh no. Well, I mean, there's so many. I like the Cosmic Odyssey from Stephen Chow.
Okay.
It's my favorite one. I think it's fantastic, and that I believe is on Netflix and Amazon Prime, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, cool.
And this came out before Stephen Chow was Stephen Chow, like before Kung Fu Hustle and Shaolin Soccer. And it's a very long movie. It's 2 parts. It's like 4 hours total. It's super romantic at the ending. I think it's really well written, and it's pretty awesome if you ask me. But it is a big commitment.
I will watch it.
I just found this book. When did this come out? Magneto and the Mutant Force. This was maybe like 2 or 3 years ago.
You do that?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
It was like a 40-page one-shot. I actually really liked it. Looking back, some nice stuff in it. Not like tooting my own horn, but just
Wow, Drew, this is awesome.
That's Cassandra Nova.
yeah, Cassandra, and she was in the new Deadpool movie
Yeah.
as the main villain. Although this was not as attractive version as the one that was in the movie. When did this come out? Heroes Reborn, 2022, 23, maybe 23, 2021. Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow, 4 years ago. 2021. Let's give something away. Let's give away the. I'm gonna give away. What should I give away? Should I give away a signed copy of Power Man #1, which just came out? You guys want to hold on a sec? Can you hold on? Entertain the masses. I'll be right back.
Jerry, you say what page you're on in this 150 page?
I mean, I'm still super early. I just finished inking page 22, and I finished coloring page 18. So.
Oh, so you're coloring too. So what do you think your pace is like in terms of how many?
All I'm doing is drawing. I'm not even kidding. I'm like so tired. I'm slaving away. But I'm penciling, inking, and coloring it. Yeah. So, and I'm even helping a little bit of the writing.
Well, this was your story, right? You just
yeah. So I'm pretty exhausted, and it's like literally all I do. But I mean, our target goal is to have it out like early to mid 2026, and then I'm going to like try to, I don't know, go like on a quick like vacation for like a week or so just to chill out for a little bit. But it's cool. You know, I'm kind of enjoying it. It's I think I'm getting better. You know, learning a lot.
Yeah. Well, this is, you've finished the book before, right? You've written, drawn, inked, and colored.
Yeah.
So this is not your first one.
No, but it's a different approach. So, you know, like I did the Conan thing with Walt, so I was used to working with a writer before. Well, not used to it, but I've had some experience, I should say. But this is different because it's such a long project. So it's like a different type of discipline, you know.
Oh, scary. That's a lot of work.
But it's cool. You know, I'm hoping that it works out and that they will be stupid enough to give me another book when I'm done with this one, so I can. Now that once I have one tucked under the belt, I'll have a better approach. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to creating something, first of all, you are the man if you start, because a lot of people just had this in their head like to do it, and then if you actually finish, then you're in a very rarefied air there. It's something that hardly anyone is able to do, to create a project from beginning to end. And then once you finish that part, you kind of break through a barrier where you can just kind of keep on going forever.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I always wonder how you guys, you know, like how do you keep it fresh? Because for me, this is not that it's my first time, but it's my first time doing something this ambitious. So, like, I'm pulling every trick out of the book that I have, and I'm on page 22. You know, like,
it's not bad.
You know, so I've been, you know, oddly enough, I've been reading more comics than ever.
Yeah, that's important. Yeah.
Trying to learn, and that's why, like, I was wondering just yesterday. I was reading the Magic Order from DK, the one that he drew.
Oh yeah, that's a
and
good
honestly,
one.
that guy is so fucking good.
Yeah.
But I couldn't help but wonder: is Olivier Coipel a little annoyed at this guy? You know?
I don't know if they actually think that there are similarities. I mean, they're definitely very similar. Actually, you know, Olivier drew the Magic Order before DK.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's almost seamless.
DK does it's like he definitely goes in his own direction, but there's some heavy influences there, like to be, to put it lightly. And yes, I saw someone in the chat wrote that Olivier kind of monkeyed a bit off of Travis before, and he did, but then he kind of went his own path and became like, I don't know, the go-to comic artist, right? And I just feel like I think DK is fucking amazing, but there's a lot of similarities with him and Olivier, and I just wonder if you're Olivier, how's that feel?
You can ask him in New York. They're both there,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a great style. So, and I think there's probably a lot of people working in that. A lot of people trying to be Olivier.
Yeah, of course. But what are we looking at here, Bernard? Is this number one?
It's Power Man number 1.
So
Spaced.
So Power Man does change, like how I draw him from issue 1 to issue 4 is there are some.
There's a good question here, Bernard. How do you draw those sci-fi visual effects? Do you leave it mostly to the colorist?
Which sci-fi visual effects?
I'm assuming like what we're looking at right here on these 2 pages in particular, which you actually draw.
Well, these 2 pages, I did all this, like with the burst and black and white. Let me open my iPad. The first issue I drew half digitally, half traditional.
For any reason he did that?
Just to save time. But so see, like this is this was the page that I turned in to the colorist. There are some effects that I've already added in there. The background, space, even the
That's pretty awesome.
The texture on the floor.
How are you doing those speed lines in that like Pen 02?
This one is I'm using a brush.
Noodle brush. SpaghettiOs brush.
I have a perspective tool.
Those speed lines are awesome.
Yeah, those are very fresh speed lines. So those are digitally enhanced speed lines?
What do you mean digitally?
Without giving away your secrets.
I mean, what's digitally enhanced is digital. So.
So they're all digital. So no Indian ink and brush was ever used for that?
This whole page is, everything's digital on this page, yeah. But that's a digital brush. I have a perspective grid. You can see it. Can you see the little perspective lines behind them? I don't think you can see there's blue lines radiating from them. So this is the last thing I did. They're on different layers. And this is an assisted layer, so let me see if I can reproduce this. There's a digital drawing assist. So every line that I'm drawing conforms to this
grid. Snaps to the grid.
It snaps to the grid, right? It's a perspective grid. So that helps.
Oh, look, he's doing it right now.
So this is one. I don't know if this was the brush that I used. I drew this months ago. So
like a charcoal type thing.
They have. I mean, Procreate has a bunch of different brushes, and there's different layers of gradation or opacity. And then so that's the one. That's the gray layer, right? And then I think I know what I did was. Oops. Something like this, and then I went back over it with maybe to clean it up.
Oh, you're working white back into it.
Okay, awesome.
And so it's all conforming to the perspective.
Yeah, that's what makes it very speedy if it goes back to a vanishing point.
So
Because otherwise,
that's-
you have to do it with a ruler.
that's kind of
This is awesome. I hope everyone's paying attention to this. This is
Yes.
huge.
There's so much of this in comics, like on every page. So to be able to do this quickly and reliably.
Yeah, I can't do that. I freaking have to, because I'm drawing traditionally, and for me to do that, like I've got to paint it and draw it, and
Yeah, it's not easy.
This was a pattern that I had created years ago. In the background, this was a brush. This worm kind of thing. Ultimately, when it gets colored, it's up to Marcello. Coloring this, you can kind of see a little bit of the texture on the floor, but some of it gets washed out. This panel in particular,
It's almost gone.
it looked very different from the black and white versus the finished, right? He took the black and he made it white. And it gave it a more celestial feel. I'm happy with it. Let's see, what's another page?
great.
I mean, some of these things like this,
That's really great.
like I really like this arm right here. Because Power Man turns into the Hulk. So the veins, right? And that page.
Hey, Bernard, do you send the colorist a JPEG or a Procreate file?
I send him a PSD file. You can convert this into a PSD file or a TIFF.
And there's like a lot of layers in it.
Yeah, so generally this is the number of layers on this file. This is what it gets. There's the line art. There's the panel borders.
That is a lot of layers.
It makes it easy for the colorist.
I have the clouds that I put in, and then this electrical kind of thing on his fist that I drew in separately, and I'm using a different textured brush. Oops, you can kind of see that. And so this is what I turned in. So some of it is colored, but it's not really colored. I mean, it's just more indicator. And if you look at Marcello, he's adding in the shadow, he's adding in texture on the skin. And he also
That's amazeballs.
He also knocked out this panel in the background. So when you're looking at the overall page, there's red, 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 and then it turns white for dramatic purposes. And then you flip to the next page because, he's turning into the Hulk. And then it's the big showdown between the two.
So I just want to mention this to the stream just because when you said everything's red, 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 and then white, I think people tend to forget when they do their own comics, when indie creators, when we got to color ourselves as well. The coloring also has to help tell the story. You're not just coloring what you drew, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have to have a direction and purpose as you color, just like as you're penciling and just like as you're inking.
Marcello's one of the best.
Yeah, that guy's the man.
And he also sends you a palette. Like this page has a palette. Like there's no stray colors in there. That it's got like a family of red and it's got a family of cool colors in there. So everything is from the top view very organized, and he has a direction he's going in with every page.
Right.
Yeah, there's a plan there. There's a clear plan.
I mean, if you start from the beginning of earlier in the book, it's very blue and cool, and then as it gets towards the end, it's very warm. So there is a separation between different settings. Aside from if we took this page I drew these two pages I drew traditionally, but then I scanned in and added some content details. So I added in a space background, but then of course he punched it up. But from what is the black and white, and again I added in the space really just for separation, easier for him to kind of excuse me, see the differences in in the layering, and he's adding in a lot of this mist. Really nice.
The mist is fantastic.
Mist, I have a little bit of a layer of mist in here. If you can see you can kind of see it. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
And that's on a separate layer. The line art layer is the bottom layer, and then what else? The space, little space highlight, gas, Aeon glow. This bad guy has like different things. So when you work with someone for a while, you get to find a rhythm, and then part of it is just trust. This page here. Let's see. This page again, there's a lot of drawing on here. This is a black and white traditional drawing, scanned in. Once it's scanned in, you know, this dragon I drew digitally, along with kind of the layer effects. You can see some of the lightning bolts coming through. And then...
And you drew this page traditionally just because it's a sexier page to have the original.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me find it. Let me
It's
find
for
it.
sale now, right?
Well, yeah, right? I mean, it's a sexy looking page, you know, like people would probably be interested in that page. Sean, are you coloring Evermind?
No, I'm not.
But are you like, you're art directing it at least, right?
Not. For some reason, I don't see color. Like my comics are in black and white. The color just because I think that's what people want to see. So I hand it off to my colorist, and then.
That's cool. I think he's doing a pretty good job on it. So.
Oh, good. Well, it's Tom Chu.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'm glad you think so. But I think the only thing I told him is like, there's this book that Stuart Immerman did called Grasses of Parnassus, which is it was an online comic on Instagram, and I have so much hatching and so much stuff there that there's no. I didn't allow any airbrush. He's only allowed to use flat colors and then some gradation, but he can never break out the airbrush. So any type of rendering is done with like color, you know, puzzle pieces rather than gradations. So
more graphically.
Yeah, and I also wanted them to keep it kind of light because, you know, get too many dark colors, it just becomes very oppressive.
Bernard is one of the best at drawing fucking rubble. I know that sounds silly, but my God, that shit is amazing.
It's not as easy as you think. I mean, rubble is one of the hardest things to draw to make it look cool.
Look at that texture. That is fucking gnarly.
Yeah, that's some Travis Cheris level rubble.
So this is the original. And then, I mean, I started drawing the first half of the book traditional, but then it was just taking a long time. And this was when I started developing pain in my shoulder. So I just made a call to draw the rest of the book digital. There's some pages in the back that I drew traditional, but it's easier to make changes, revisions when it's digital. So it saves a little bit of time. But if we look at this, we'll get out of here after this.
The colors on the rubble is fucking dope too.
If we get canvas information. So it says 1 hour 24 minutes. So I spent an hour and a half.
Wow.
Adding some of these effects to it from the black and white after it was scanned in. You can see also on the fist down here. And then based on how Marcello colored it. So
so cool.
This page is probably like 6 to 8 hours.
Wow, that's fast.
Around like an
That's
hour.
super fucking fast.
An hour a panel. So
an hour a panel.
An hour or so a panel.
Jeez.
I loved while I was when me and Bernard were both in Taipei at the same time, I was there for like what 8 days or something, and I inked 4 pages while I was there, and I was so excited that I inked 4 pages, you know. And I talked to Bernard, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you know, penciled like 20 pages this week." I was like, "What?" I was like, "You did what?"
All right, let's give this comic book away and let's get out of here. It's already 12:30 for you guys.
Who did that cover? Jeez.
Not me. Sean, you want to text me a number, or Jerry, you want to text me a number between 1 and 100?
I gotta come up with a different number because I think everyone's on.
Yeah,
to me.
I think everybody knows your numbers, Jerry. It's either 3, 69, 3 or 69.
Okay, wait, I got a number. Oh,
Jerry,
what's the scale?
1 and 100.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just skip here. All right, I just sent it to you.
Okay, all right. It's open to everybody in chat. So just type in a number between 1 and 100.
23. Carson McKinney must think I'm a Michael Jordan. I only like Jordan's shoes, not him.
And this was actually signed by the 2 writers too, Jackson Lanning and Colin Kelly.
Wow.
So, and I'll ship it out. Maybe, I don't know, sometime next year. So, yeah. I don't know if this was the best cover.
Yeah, you can't say who it was. Who did it?
I don't know who drew it. I don't know. There's actually a couple other variant covers. One by Ken Lashley. Oh, it's pretty good. That one was pretty good. But all right, we only got a few people that want to guess. Nobody else. Lurky Lurk is here. Good to see Lurky Lurk. I think we got the whole crew back. D. Rogers, did you land? Or is he still on the plane? I have like 8 bottles of Glenlivet 12 for my flights.
That's so awesome. So, are we done with the guesses?
Oh, he's at the
T.
hotel
Rogers is
break.
unpacking at the hotel.
Nice. What city are you in now? D. Rogers was in Long Beach a couple months ago. I didn't get the chance to see him, but hopefully next time he'll stop by LA. We'll get a chance to hang out. 1 in 100. Anybody else want to guess?
Right now, there's someone that's pretty close.
Oh yeah, this is
Seattle. I knew he's in Seattle. Goddamn, he's gonna go to the Din Tai Fung. I know it. That bastard.
all right, Lurky Lurk. Let's lock it up. Let's lock it up, Lurky Lurk. Last call for guessers. He needs to figure out.
Ooh, D. Rogers might come to New York for our art show.
Yeah. Oh, in May.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. That'd be cool. All right. Number. Of course, this is still a very Jerry number.
I made a T-shirt with this number for
If
Pete's
3 and 8 and 69 or 88 are not Jerry numbers, this is probably the next in line. What year did the New York Mets win the World Series? 86, right? 86?
Yep. So Kevin P. West got 89.
Kevin P. West, the Detroit City. Okay, Motor City. All right, Kevin P. West. How am I gonna? You know, I lost the list of the winners I used to have. Let me write this down. Okay. All right. Kevin P. West. This is gonna sit on my desk and collect dust for a year. send it out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sean, any last words?
Support Crease's Kickstarter is running now. I think for another couple weeks. Bladesmith, 24/7 Comics.
Jerry?
Support indie comics.
Yeah, indie comics.
Oh, Blood Train. Did you guys get a copy of Blood Train?
Yeah. Blood Train is a good read. Everyone should go get a copy of that. It is a very entertaining comic. I genuinely mean that.
Every time Jerry says that, I owe him 25 cents. Or a shot of Jameson. Whichever is cheaper. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Happy holidays. See you guys. Oh, let's raid somebody. Who should we raid?
Someone said we should raid. Where is it? Saw it up above. Superior Spider with a 1 in the spider.
Is that one word? Oh, there it is. Superior Spider. Okay, let's. Ooh, all right. Start raid. Superior Spider is doing an ink drawing. Well, thanks guys for watching. Stay safe. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And then we'll see you guys next week. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
All right, did we raid? Did we raid or?